Well, hi there, everybody. How's it going? It's Monday. It's February 7th. It's 2022. There are sports algorithms to talk about, and I don't really care too much about this today, but people are, asking me for it because it does stuff like this, which is like win all the time. I know. It's what happens. All right, so I guess we got to do sports algorithms. So I'm going to try to do this as fast as possible, and of course, I get bored, so I'll start talking about other stuff because I get bored doing this. Even though it's clearly it's like printing money basically. This thing just wins. All right, so let's see what happens today. How fast can we do this? Because I'm bored, and I might not do a perfect job because nobody's bought NBA yet. Somebody bought college basketball. Thank you, Carlos. Let's do the este video in español. ¿Por qué no? Porque let's do that. Let's have fun with it. I like to practice Spanish. If we're gonna have to do work that's boring, let's at least attempto en español por todos quienes escuchan y miran el video en YouTube en español. Okay, vamos a NBA basketball. So I odds en RotoWire. RotoWire comprar $9.99 pesetas por una mes per mes por RotoWire estadísticos y odds is gratis actually. Odds gratis, right? So por no dinero at all, tú puedes obtener odds and okay, so NBA aquí, right? Right there. Y este día está aquí porque mañana or ayer and ayer is no nada ayer porque es gone. So no never nunca ayer, pero este día hoy, right? Hoy or mañana. Okay, so hoy aquí en Excel, right? Abre el filo. ¿Cómo se dice Excel file? Oh, all right. So aquí grab this copy. ¿Cómo es copy? Oh, man, I don't know how to say copy in Spanish. I got to start. Estudio mi español más. I'm going to be doing videos in Spanish. All right. So aquí paste especial. Paste especial es importante en muchos tiempos que we paste stuff. Okay. So this is so no quiero trabajo nada más. You just do aquí y paste especial, uno de estos tres, one right there. And then este día hoy is the 7th. It's Control D is what I do. Aquí, you can grab this. And then this aquí, auto formula down, that little plus button. You get, and then we're done. All right, so NBA for today is, pero no es completamente, right? That's a word. Porque hay otros estadísticos que no vamos a update. Injury. ¿Quién es enferma? ¿Quién tiene el COVID-19? It's funny. All right, so aquí fantasy injury reporta. Excel, Abre, open. Enable editing ahí. No es muy importante actually. Copy, right? Copy. And I do paste especial, but no, paste is okay. It's también is okay. All right, so now enter reporto pivot table. So aquí es un table dinámico. I think that's French. All right, so aquí el formula necesito grab this thing here. Aquí. Esa cosa no, la formula es no correcto y necesitas correcta el formula cuando el injury report is más grande or menos or shrink or whatever. And then formula aquí, and then Hay otros statisticos, pero I mean, team stats aquí could change. Player statisticos, I mean, it's muy boring, but aquí we got some stats per game. Then it's team equipo stats, y básico y advanced, basic, and I mean, you can grab all these. I don't want to do it. It's boring. It's really boring in the video. And I don't think it adds that much day to day. So it's kind of like, all right. So aquí, right? That's it. Yeah. For hoy, that's, no underdogs, no debajo perros. I don't know what they call underdog in Spanish. All right, so hilarious. All right, so NBA is completamente. So done, sort of. It could be better, but I'm going to leave it at that. So that's NBA done, right? Let's get rid of NBA. Now, somebody who bought NCAA, who speaks Spanish, I think, my guess by the name, but I'll try to do NCAA in English because that was fun in Spanish. I actually think I kind of explained it. For anybody who speaks Spanish out there, let me know if that was actually helpful. That would be fun. All right, so let's go to college basketball now. So college basketball, we hit one of our two underdogs I mentioned in the video yesterday. It was Wyoming, right? This is still yesterday. Yeah, I didn't update scores because I got other stuff to do. I don't care. But I'm sure there are people that could have. But I did pay attention to that one game because I mentioned it in the video. Wyoming won by, I think, 3 or 4 points. And the score was right around that, I think. What the heck was the projected score of this game, actually? Now I want to look it up. All right, so now, hold on. Now let's go to college basketball. And there are odds for today, but I'm not going to put them in yet. I want to go over to fantasy real quick, and I want to look at that score. Because now I care. Yesterday, Wyoming wins 61-59. So it wasn't that high scoring, but they win a whatever, they win. Algorithm does its job and hits an underdog. But because Fresno State was hurting, it gave you a lot of information. All right, so today we have new odds. And if we wanted to do that really, really quick job of not spending a lot of time to fully update the report and just grab a really, really quick free look, basically, I call this the poor man's version of the file, I guess, which is, look at that, no errors, amazing. RotoWire all of a sudden fixed up their odds. It's funny, they're probably using something to check their odds now so they don't get them wrong. They used to be wrong all the time. They used to have the wrong numbers in here. They'd have like a +9 right here, and there'd be an error that would show up because it would be like, hey, the odds don't make sense. So one line is this way and the points are the other way. It's like someone clearly entered this incorrectly. That doesn't happen anymore. Funny. All right, so let's go back and look at the poor man's version of today, which would be right here. And this is how I like to look at this version, and we're going to do a couple more things to update it. Actually, really quickly, you can do the school stats table. That's just a right click and refresh. This is actually, somewhat connected to like NHL Pro Reference or something to grab the table here. So that should do that automatically. So there's no copy and paste involved with that element. And you still get a reasonably good version here, but you need to have the injury report. If you watched the video yesterday at the end, it was a video where I talked about self-driving car stuff, completely unrelated. But at the very end, I actually talked about the pick of the day for college basketball, and it was Wyoming over Fresno State because they're a better team anyway. You didn't even know they were on the road. Fresno State was hurting. And it was obvious that Wyoming was going to give them trouble. And I actually did take Wyoming +3.5 before I left the state of Virginia. And, it won. They won the game at +140. And it's one of those where the algorithm, like, why on earth, would any of us, like, care or know about whether or not Wyoming is going to beat Fresno State in college basketball and why that's actually, like, a good investment financially? Why would anyone care? That's what the algorithm does, is it pulls out that kind of stuff so that somebody, me, who never watches any real college basketball. Even when I'm betting on it, I don't watch it. Once in a while, I'll turn something on, and it is fun to watch, but almost never. And it's kind of funny because I know the picks better than the bookies do, and so do you if you're paying attention to this. So let's see what it is today. That's why I do this, because I understand there's a lot of financial value there for people who want to sit down and watch these games, take advantage of live betting, being in a place where you can look at the algorithm and you can see where one team is supposedly a pretty big favorite, and they've started off really slow in the first half or something, and you can pick some value there. There's a lot of different things you can do with this if you really want to pay attention, and you should be rewarded for paying attention. Living in a society that rewards smart people is kind of what the sports betting community can become, because there's something that this algorithm doesn't do, actually, that I wish it did do, but I don't have the technical expertise to program it at this point, which is, comb through Twitter and find out news about specific instances, because there's all kinds of things that can be done. I saw a story recently about a player that was like just playing a game for a second or something and then was going to foul out and not do anything in a basketball game, and there were bets on that person to have like under a number of assists or under a number of points in the game, and if you bet on that, you were basically doubling your money, whatever you put on it max, when you realized that was the announcement, that the agreement that they were going to have in the game. And the odds makers didn't pull it down right away because, who is everyone really monitoring Twitter, knowing every single thing that's going on with every single player in every single sport all the time? That's a pretty big task. And so those who pay attention and take advantage of that information when it comes out have a tremendous advantage in some interesting scenarios like that. All right, so let's talk about what just happened. Did I update this thing? Is there anything else I want to do? I don't think I did player stats, but I don't care. That's just an extra day. All right, so I guess we're kind of done here with college basketball. So let's take a look. 34 games it's got in here today. Are there any home underdogs? No. Of course not. Are there any underdogs? The answer is there's 3. And Madison is hurting, though, injury-wise, against Drexel, so that's scary. Margins are terrible, and teams are on the road. New Hampshire also has a bad strength of schedule. Southern Utah against Montana is probably the best out of these 3 because the strength of schedule is positive. And they're a pretty good team at 62%. And the line's okay, but really rough board, obviously, when it comes to underdogs. How about home teams? Well, I like seeing injury here. So Richmond is at home against George Mason. 2 teams that I drove by yesterday. All right, so that's minus 360, though. Wow, what a bad board. Ugh, wow. Yuck. It's so bad I don't even want to talk about it anymore. Good God. Temple is minus 180, but at 51%. So here's one where you look at potentially South Florida, a team at home, while they're going to have a negative 24% margin, they're going to be an underdog. And Temple, for some reason, is completely injured. So that's an interesting thought going the other way here. And similar stuff down here with like Arkansas Pine Bluff or something. But man, tough board. Okay, let's talk about hockey. So that's college basketball. I'm going to send this out. Is there anything else? I think we needed to update players. I don't know if I did or not. Whatever. We're going to call it a day on college basketball. All right, we got hockey. Hockey's right here. We're back from the All-Star break now. Brand new day. What is it, the 7th? Yeah. I think there's only 2 games when I glanced at it. So let's do a quick version of hockey, which is here. And here you don't have to Excel download this because just paste it here. And I'm pretty sure the only real thing you have to do is the the goalie, the starting goalies make this thing work and not break. But I also want to do the injury report because we've had an all-star break. There are COVID diagnoses and stuff all over the place that I definitely want to run the injury report before we look at this. So here you have the starting goalies sheet, and if you just paste this here, you right-click. You got to do that as whatever, not as text when you paste it. This should work, and let's update injuries real fast and make sure that we know who's playing these 4 games. So when I glanced at the games, it's like Toronto and Carolina, and then Ottawa and New Jersey, I think, which reminded me of like 2 good teams playing each other, 2 bad teams playing each other is what that looked like. And let's see if that works. That should work. Grab that. Go to the cube, paste it as values here. And, oh yeah, there's the confirmed and stuff. You have to go in here and manually change this formula to be equal sign here, because it changes every day based on the number of goaltenders, and I haven't made it dynamic. So this is why sometimes it won't tell you whether or not a goalie is expected or confirmed or not here to get this right. That's why I just did that. Okay, guess what? I think we just did hockey. I didn't update player stats, but I don't think I needed to because there's been an all-star break. And what it says, exactly. Super close game here between 2 bad teams. And it actually barely favors New Jersey at the underdog line. And anytime you see an even game in hockey, I always like to bet on the underdog with 2 bad teams because it's a game of bounces anyway. So it's probably, you're definitely not going to win a game like this more than like 60% of the time on average because it's more like a 50-50 flip. But if you always take the team with the better line, you're going to get at least 50% of these, and then you make money when you do straight bets in the long run. Now, Carolina and Toronto is also barely favoring the underdog. Carolina on the road. And it's the number 1 pick of the day as well. But look at how low the margins are. These are 2 super close games. In a game like this, these 2 goalies, Anderson's coming off the All-Star break, being in the All-Star game. Mrazek is not. It has a lower goalie rating, and he's confirmed. And that's what puts Carolina over the top in this game. So a fun parlay is in New Jersey and Carolina. But you don't hit that all the time. And 2 straight bets here, honestly, numerically, the way this is playing out is 2 straight bets makes you money a lot of the time today with these 2 games. Because think of all the scenarios that can happen. You can lose both games and lose your money. That could happen. You could win one of these games and only one of these games and lose the other one, and you still make money if you make 2 straight bets at these odds. Or you could win both and make, 2.3 on your money, right? But you make just a little bit. You make that edge right here, that whatever 7.5% I think it's going to be if you make 2 straight bets here. So this is a very interesting betting day because of the way this has laid itself out. Because the odds that you lose both of these games are less than 25% in my opinion. I think that's the way that works out. Anyway, all right, good luck everyone. May all your picks be winning.